think it's my turn in this game, isn't it? Put one down. My turn, yep. O. Ooh, it is an O too, yeah. 0, less than a 1. Or I'll try another one. Oh, even worse, 6. Oh, they've all fallen down to the bottom of the deck of the card. Oh, this is getting bizarre. Oh my goodness, another O. Well, I'll try that. Oh, I must still. Goodness me. Well, these are trick cards which magicians use typically when they're doing a card trick and they want to make a surreptitious move, and they put down a card like that, and everyone, for a moment, everyone goggles at it because they've never seen a card like that before. That's the point at which they make that little subtle move which they don't want you to see. So it's called a misdirection. These are typically used by magicians for making misdirections, knowing that they're going to be something that people will go, oh, that's what they are. Good cards, and apart from that, they're normal bicycle decks. These are very non-bicycle decks. Look at this. There's a deck of cards like that. They make a wells like that. But what a shape. What a bizarre shape. Quite easy to stick together as well, but they're like sticks, every one of them. So that is a strange set of cards, but they are all there. What about what do the jokers look like? Oh, the court cards, yes. No, there's no pictures. There's no attempt to make pictures, but I'm just intrigued by how they finish the artwork off for the cards. So these are decks of cards I've come across, which I think, what extraordinary shapes they are. There's another shape I picked up, I think, a company in London called John Lewis, and they made a deck like this. Isn't that lovely? Those are jokers, but look at that. It makes a perfectly good build of the hand of the card, but what wonderful shapes. They actually, they pack together very nicely at the end when you're packing up the deck. The way they've actually been arranged like that, because of the curved edges, makes them turn and very nicely into a little triangle. So, good deck of cards, that one. This is animation taken to a very high degree. There's a lovely magic trick which I can't do, but the denouement is, you say, okay, our chosen card is, I'll show it to you now. You make a nice little incline like that in order to do a really good slow flurry. Now watch these little figures here. Flying through the air, look at that, beautiful. And they've got a card, taking it out. Wow, it's almost there, and that's your card. What was that? The King of Clubs is what, King of Hearts is the one you chose. Extraordinary, but that animation occurs for every card, and it reveals the card you've chosen, which makes it a very, very clever trick, because it's using a little bit of animation like a flick book, and the magic trick is achieved as well. Wonderful stuff. This is, forget the frolics. Oh yes, this is a friend of mine, Lennart Grien, from up in Sweden. He's actually a doctor, I think it is, but he's come across an extraordinary idea, which he spent 6 months making it. He had to go around to card shop after card shop after card shop to find different backs of cards, and then he took them home, and then he made up 52 sets, each of which, and this is the first set he made, was the king, all the kings, and he does a marvellous trick incorporating these, that one belongs there, incorporating these special cards here, incorporates the trick, but the denouement is in it. You'll see these appearing, the ones you've chosen or not expected to see. But to achieve it, he's got to first of all spend some weeks and weeks and weeks finding 52 different cards. That's a lovely sign of how dedicated magicians are, how many hours they'll spend in developing a trick. In this way, it was just several weeks in fact, he spent building up that set of cards. This is just a very nice ergonomic deck. It's the normal cards, well, funny shapes, but the nice thing about it is the shape of the thing is something you hold in the hand like that, between the fingers, which you're holding it, it makes it feel very nice and how it's got an ergonomic feel to it, which means it's comfortable. It's what I call finger-friendly cards, and they're designed like that. Small children, especially playing cards, would have a lot less trouble with those cards than normal cards, because they're meant to be for the fingers to hold like that. Nicely, very nicely. And we've got this extraordinary deck which our big toy shop in London produced a few years ago, and a friend of mine devised it for him, and it's got a little figure here which does that lovely flicking action. Here we go. Watch the little figure here as I do this. He's having a whale of time. Look at that. Extraordinary. They're ordinary cards, perfectly normal cards. I've only got a few of them, half the deck with me. and either way it'll work. And the Hamleys logo is on the top, and there's a figure with his hula hoop, and he's hula hooping. What a lovely piece of work. Beautiful. And the last one is a very special thing. It's I've come across a lot of these cards that friends of mine make, which are impossible cards. Very difficult to make. To actually create that, you've got to do a lot of very careful folding and infolding of the cards to produce them. And this chap did something else. You can see that flat's been taken up, but this has been turned around in some clever way without the creases showing. And it's an impossible card, but it does something else. So I like the idea of having something else to it. What it does is you put a little slot in here, and you say to yourself, that reminds me of something like that. Well, the answer to that is what they call a gnomon. A gnomon. So I've put it on the table like this, and I get a sun, there's a torch, I'll focus it so it's nice and gentle, and that's the gnomon, that's a sundial like that. When I put this on here, and I'll have a go at making it move around from about here, and there's the gnomon there, and it's showing 9 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, early sunrise in summertime, then 9 o'clock, now it's coming up to midday, and then it's going to go in the afternoon, we're going to take it round to 3 o'clock, there's the 3, and finally in the early evening in summertime, 6 o'clock. So a gnomon made from one of those impossible cards, a little gnomon sundial made from the card. That's really very, very clever indeed. It takes it to another level. So well done, well done, this American friend of mine. I think he's excelled himself, and it goes with the other cards, which are just normal flat ones, but clever stuff. Goodness me, what an extraordinary collection of playing cards.